Travis Wayne Goodsell. Just been sitting here for 10 minutes staring at Isaiah 24, which was a mistake. Wrong chapter. Bruce Armaconki says, "Men shall transgress the law and break the everlasting covenant. At the second coming they shall be burned. The earth shall reel, and the sun be ashamed. Then shall the Lord reign in Zion and in Jerusalem." I am very well aware that the scriptures inform us that we need to learn line upon line, precept upon precept, so that we build upon our knowledge, so that eventually, in our adult years, we have learned a lot of things to therefore teach our children, who likewise start off learning line upon line, precept upon precept. And I have come to learn that even though I understand this chapter, immediately I understood it as from Doctrine and Covenants, section 1, verses 14 through 16. Which is obvious that Joseph got this from. Bruce Armaconki, I then find out, sorta knew. Verse 5, footnote B, DNC 115. For changed, which is slightly different wording than what Joseph Smith had. But Joseph Smith is referring to Mormons. And he's taken it from Isaiah to refer to Mormons. The Book of Mormon teaches us that the house of Israel are Mormons, as Joseph Smith is Messiah ben Joseph of the house of Israel, the new Israelites. Thus all the scriptures are referring to Mormons, whether they're the house of Israel or Jews. So the city that is left desolate is not Jerusalem. The stone temple is not the Jerusalem temple. And I see the eclipses of the moon and the sun, from which everybody else got it from. The final verse 23, which the Isaiah scroll is one long document, not divided into chapters and verses. But the manner in which he words it is also very curious. The moon shall be confounded rather than turned to blood. So turned to blood is connected to the word translated into English as confounded. The sun ashamed, associated with darkening. But to see the Lord of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem. That's something that the majority of people do not know about. nor do they know that that's why Joseph Smith said so in the unpublished by Brigham Young, 19 July 1840. The mountain cities of Zion and New Jerusalem. So, staying up late last night, doing research, for which, upon winding down my day, that's when my thoughts start going inward, which previously in my life, that would be when I crawl into bed and trying to get to sleep, which is why I have a notepad and pen at my bedside. But since being in this apartment, that's not utilized as much. I end up staying up late instead. Yesterday morning, I woke up with the dream of the number 6. And I knew it was connected with Zion. But on the surface, upon waking up, I didn't know how. Back when I was doing the research on the Paleo-Hebrew vocabulary, I was starting to have dreams in which I was being shown and taught Paleo-Hebrew vocabulary in my dreams. And I'm frustrated because I'm not there yet. I'm trying to put it all into a document, and then after I finish the document, go over it, see what there is from the patterns. And instead, my brain was impatient and teaching me how the vocabulary works. So, upon waking up, I'd check, see if that was correct, rather than just believing that it's true and then going around telling everybody that that's true and everybody has to believe me. I check myself first. But, yeah, each and every time, it is correct. But nobody understands it, because I'm the one who deciphered Paleo-Hebrew. So I'm all alone on this knowledge. Thus, Plato says that those who obtain knowledge have a duty and a responsibility to share it with others. That they can't hide it, hoard it. Thus why I do my videos on YouTube. Because I have learned when Fox 13 News Utah on the 4th of November 2016 announced that there would be a total solar eclipse, or a shaming of the sun, on the 21st of August 2017. Because I knew exactly what that meant. Because of the line upon line, precept upon precept, that I had applied in my daily life, and had reached that level of knowledge that I knew nobody else had. But there's a basic knowledge every Mormon should know and have no excuse to claim they don't know or to lie about it. Because everybody knows that Isaiah talks about the great and abominable church founded by the devil. Babylon the whore. It's Isaiah 14, not 24. That verse 12, that is also in our Book of Mormon, there are those in Mormon apologetics who know that Lucifer comes from the Latin Vulgate, but then they lie to themselves and to others concerning Lucifer's sign of the falling star from heaven, the inverted pentagram of Venus. They lie because they know that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints under Brigham Young put Lucifer's inverted pentagram all around the Nauvoo temple, that they had burned in similitude of their causing the latter-day burning, and then was rebuilt exactly as designed by Brigham Young, not originally by Joseph Smith before he was assassinated, by John Taylor and Willard Richards, who were the only two people left in the room when Joseph and Hiram were shot with 4 balls each. John thought he could lie and get away with it because he doesn't mention that they had pistols. When Willard Richards stepped out to go get the pistols after Wheelock gave Joseph Smith a 6-shooter, as my 3rd great grandfather had previously given him a single shot. But then Brigham Young put it on his Ponderosa arch here in this valley. The Logan Temple has it on a window. And the most obvious of all, the sign of Lucifer on the keystones of the doors of the Salt Lake Temple headquarters. And those who go in to learn of its ways in the endowment ceremony that Brigham Young created, not Joseph Smith. The 5 covenant paths with the accompanying penalty of blood atonement are Lucifer's plan of happiness to take away agency of life, liberty, and property. And even the pure doctrine of Lucifer of cover up and hide. Every Mormon should know Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the great and abominable church of the devil. And for Mormons to not know this, to lie and deny about it, is shameful. I grew up outside of Utah. Tom Jones was the one who told me about the inverted pentagrams on the temple. So I didn't believe him. Because the church lies to us. After all, Lucifer is the father of all lies. So I don't expect Mormons to know that the manner in which the Book of Mormon applies this Latin Vulgate version of Lucifer, that Mars therefore is his father, that he's calling out the false prophet of the latter days by his three names. Mars, chief. The king of Babylon. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. The king of Babylon is a chief one. Mars, the chief one, Chief Mars. So I don't know, maybe people don't know that there's baby name meanings to your names. Unless your parents made up a name that felt good. And therefore has no meaning. But for the rest of the world, our names have baby name meanings. Our surnames have meaning. And for 10 years, 10.5K videos now, I have gone over baby name meanings with you. The significance of baby name meanings. And I have to redo that picture now. But Russell Marion Nelson. Red Star of the Sea, chief son of chief, or chief son of, technically. Chief Mars. Isaiah called out Russell Marion's name, full name, and therefore Nelson's successor is Lucifer. Number 18, 6 plus 6 plus 6. So yeah, I don't expect you guys to have that level of knowledge. As I've learned, most people didn't even know that their name had baby name meaning. Right, Sarah Murphy? Which I did the video and made the picture when Nelson botched the translation of Israel. See, I understand why these prophets lie, why they are illiterate. It's because they're the church of the devil. But even though I understand Mormons can't make these branch off understandings, every Mormon have no excuse concerning the core. But I guess it's because you purposely are kept hidden from it, that you don't go to the Salt Lake Temple. You don't see the inverted pentagram. But there are many of you who do know, like Mormon apologists. They all know, because they're the ones who are writing about this and telling you that the inverted pentagram of Lucifer is a sign for something else, to try to associate it with Jesus instead, or Freemasonry. Having no clue, because they don't want to, that it was because the Illuminati had infiltrated Freemasonry. You can tell when the Illuminati infiltrated a group, because the group will change their signs to inversions. Right, Hitler? So if you saw Da Vinci Code with Tom Hanks, he's talking in the beginning to a class about signs. And he says, what is this sign? They all recognize it as a swastika. But they wrongly attributed it to the Nazis, because it's not inverted. And he says it's Hindu. Hitler used the Hindu symbol and inverted it for the Nazis. So on the Confederate flag, all those stars, oh, they're pointing up. Are they? Take the cross and level it out on the horizon. Oh, there's the inverted pentagram. It's easy to spot the devil and his followers. Right? GOP during the Nixon campaign. I'm still waiting for the deep state Democrats to invert the stars on the donkey. Somewhere in my files I have that picture. Just a simple little change changes the meaning. Nevertheless. And so for Mormons to not make this connection, I can only understand it and justify it in the context of my life, being away from the Salt Lake Temple to not see it. We didn't have the internet. The church would never show it in pictures. They didn't have a wall until Hinckley put it up with the change at Temple Square. And then covered it up and hid it. The pure doctrine of Lucifer. And so only those who get sealed in the temple have their pictures taken at those doors, and the photographers make sure to get the full door in rather than intentionally leave it out for the wedding couple. I can understand how people outside of Utah don't know. Like I said, core Mormons in Utah do know. Even those in Alberta knew, from the teenagers who spray painted the inverted pentagram on the buildings in McGrath. There are many people who know, many Mormons who know, and cover it up and hide it as a secret knowledge that they want to be exclusive on, I guess. But Isaiah is talking about somebody else coming. The hero to save the day. And yes, Isaiah calls out his 3 names. But this one, nobody knows. Unless I say the words, the one mighty and strong. Now everybody's familiar. But if I said the man or the prophet like Moses, nobody knows that. When that's the more popular one in all scripture. Because of the great and abominable church of the devil that have lied to people, as Christianity has lied to people. They used the same pattern that Constantine used to cover up and hide, so that nobody would know Emmanuel. And yet Mormons should have known. Way back when, there was a woman who taught church history in the older singles ward who didn't know that Emmanuel, which she knew Emmanuel, everybody knows Emmanuel, but don't make the connection as a Mormon who teaches church history about Adam Andai Amen. Even when Bruce R. McConkie translates it as the place of God where Adam dwelt. Which, therefore, Bruce R. McConkie's translation is Adam's residence of Amen, God, Emmanuel, the God Amen. El, God. Mormons know this base level. Nelson came out with his wife, playing Scrabble and cheating, to botch the translation of Elijah. But at least you know that Elijah is 2 Hebrew words, El and Yah. So that therefore Emmanuel is the God Amen. from Adam on Diamond. I would have thought that that would have been base knowledge that everybody would have known. And yet, a woman in the older singles ward, older than I am, who taught church history, did not know. And so it's difficult doing YouTube videos all by myself, all alone in my room. Where I have to try to guess at the base level of knowledge of my viewership, the majority of whom are just like members in church, in Sunday school. They sit there and wait for the class to end. But that's the level of knowledge that I'm at, and trying to get it across to you guys in 10.5 different methods of presentation, hoping one of them will connect with you guys, because I don't know. I will never know until people start commenting. And that's when people let me know that they had watched a video of mine that they connected with and understood and wanted to learn more. Otherwise, you could just sit there, watch my video. YouTube plays around, making me question as to whether or not I'm getting any views or whether they're hiding them from me. Ooh, Lucifer's Pure Doctrine. Isn't that interesting? Even though last night I found out that Google, which owns YouTube, uses the same AI system at the core, has been covering up and hiding other certain people. From search engines. Now that he's been forced to withdraw his campaign. I'm well aware of suppression through this search engine, because I still recall in 2022 the purge of searches. Not just Google, but Microsoft and the other search engines. There was a purge that was observed in progress. This came after Nelson said he had rigged the search engines, since they're the major stockholder in the search engine companies, so that only the church would be first recommended. If somebody wrongly typed in LDS or Mormon, they would be corrected and directed only to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and none of us apostates. And so in 2022, a purge of files. This is a mass amount of data that they purged in real time. I still remember doing the video, watching in real time as it's deleting before my eyes. My website was purged. Even though Paul created another website for me just prior to, I think. Didn't you? How long has the website been up? It's been years. Maybe it was after. Nonetheless, yeah, it was after. Because in 2021, he was asking if he could come and rescue me from the hell of Salt Lake City. And I had to say, well, there was supposed to be a fall of the church and a transfer of authority, and none of that happened, and I'm not sure why. So I have to stick around until I can figure it out. And then I found out. They ran a test run in 2020 instead of fulfilling all of their 200-year-old plot of scripture prophecy. So yeah, the website would have been put up after the purge that Paul did. But they purged my previous website that the church shut down with a new company that they invested in, who bought out my original website. And then after I filed in the federal courts against the church, the day after, bleep you, Travis. So yes, as it is obvious that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the great and abominable church of the devil, branch off from that. Don't lie for this church, because now you're a follower of Lucifer. But at the same time, you're supposed to recognize me. That's why I mentioned the lawsuit. Who is Moses for the Jews? He's their Christ in the future. This is where the Book of Mormon teaches you this. To correct the errors of Christianity that instead teach you it's all about Jesus. The Jews are not Christian. Christians are not Jews. That's a base understanding that everybody should know, so that those who say Judeo-Christian values are of the devil. $5.44 and somebody's trying to steal a car. Unless, because typically they correspond, and we just heard one of them take off. But I think that's a car alarm rather than the tracks train who's stuck and the alarm sounds and beeps. I think that's a different sound. Anyway. So you're supposed to be looking for me. Obviously, you're not going to know my three-name meaning. Just like you never caught on to Nelson's three-name meaning in Isaiah 14 in the Book of Mormon, which is 24 in the Book of Mormon. 17 for Emmanuel. But when section 103, 15 through 18, tells you to look for a Mormon who has the keys of authority of Moses, which they have no problem footnoting you to section 107, verse 91. He's the rightful head of the church. That's why this year I've been teaching repeatedly about section 107 and the authority for Joseph Smith's church. Every priesthood holder, at least, should know this. That the hidden name that we use Melchizedek in place of is not Jesus. Because this Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, especially after Nelson, frequently repeats the name Jesus. So obviously they're lying to us. That's basic. And maybe you don't understand what I mean when I say basic, because the little teeny boppers a decade or two ago changed the definition of basic. But at least YouTube only allows me to see that my viewers for several years now have only been older than I am. So you know the correct definition of basic. And so, when you watch the Ten Commandments, maybe even see Christian Bale's Exodus, Gods and Kings, or the Prince of Egypt cartoon, you see patterns, especially if you watch all three of them. There are some similarities in each of the three movies, regardless of whether or not you've actually read the book of Exodus. And are trying to cheat by watching the movies. And you know very well the movies never stick to the script of the books from which they're derived. Nonetheless, everybody should know about parting waters, creeping death, suing in Pharaoh's court, let my people go, blood of the lamb on the doorposts, and rebellious house of Israel who refused to believe, who refused to listen, who refused to follow their Christ. And yet you still can't make the pattern match, huh? And lesson after lesson from the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith, even the Old Testament, even the New Testament, talk about how the house of Israel, the Jews, are stubborn, don't want to believe, don't want to listen. You can't make the connection, huh? Okay. Whatever. But I've been trying to make it obvious for you all these years in 10.5K videos that I am him. Judge me by my fruit. But you never judge the living prophets of Jesus by their fruit, and so you won't refuse to judge me by mine. I have demonstrated, not only do I have the keys of Moses, thus the authority to lead this church, when they don't, but I've also demonstrated all of the gifts and powers of the Spirit. God. Seer, prophet, revelator, translator. Just as obvious, and in fact even more so, than the inverted pentagram on the keystone of the doors of the Salt Lake Temple. Because the church tries to cover it up and hide it until this year. With the Nauvoo Temple, sure, but they showed it in a distance. They really did not zoom in to say, ooh, look, Lucifer's symbol. This is the symbol of our true God. That to avoid the too frequent repetition of the name Lucifer, we, the members of the church, will call him Jesus. Because we're Christian, and Christians aren't. You bleeping idiot, Trump. Getting played by the devil. The devil went down to D.C. He was looking for a president to con. Dear God. I'm right here, Mr. President. I'm trying to protect you from the great and abominable church of the devil. Who are pulling your puppet strings. Even the evangelicals don't realize it. I warned him, and then he goes and he pulls that crap. See, back in the days when I had my original website, I posted about the oranges in Florida that were again destroyed by the successive hurricane. And I learned that President Trump had been to my website to see that post. Because I'm listening to him as the whole news heard him, but had no clue where he was getting it from, even though they reported that Trump gets it from internet sources to repeat it in person to the press, or he gets things from movies that he watches, believes they're true. The whole border threat, yeah, he got that from Ciprico. And he still keeps pushing it to this day. And yeah, there is some truth to it, but... And so yes, when he said oranges of the investigation, I knew. I knew damn well. On the very day, huh? Okay. Where are you now, Mr. President? Even because of me, YouTube had to bribe Trump. Mr. President. Nonetheless. So, yeah, my dreams that I share with you are to help you understand that I am Him. Translator is the big obvious one. That's what I'm well known for worldwide. And Mormons exclusively know this of me, but because of their playing dumb about the inverted pentagram, they refuse to accept it and say, I'm not authorized. I have no authority with the keys of Peter. Yeah, I've got the keys of Moses, and therefore Peter too. I'm authorized. And Mormons still don't catch it. Pharaoh wasn't authorized, but he was the one in power. Moses was not the head of the church. Just a regular member. He goes and confronts Pharaoh, who's not authorized, who's the head of the church. Let my people go. And maybe that nobody understands because you're not visionaries like I am, because of Mrs. Fiskin in 5th grade. I don't know. Do you guys not watch Sesame Street? One of these things is not like the others. One of these things just isn't the same. You don't know how to make matches? You couldn't recognize as a kid? Hey, I'm a female. I'm a male. Just like mommy or daddy. Because I thought all kids knew instantly, and thus wanted to replicate that parent, being influenced by the other. Guess there are too many broken families nowadays, so that people are confused. So, yeah, the purge in 2022 was so that they can have file space for AI. They've been plotting this the whole time. They knew that AI would require a certain extra amount of file space. And so rather than come right out with the data centers that were massively huge to handle the current load, they did a purge of their systems instead. And it purged a lot of innocent people of their work. So I used to be able to search for pictures on the church and see it all flooded with my website. Not anymore. Not anymore. Utah has been designated as the worst state to live. But when I hear about the justices who are being threatened with death threats and cyber terrorist attacks, as 2 of them testified in Congress yesterday, because of my knowledge level, whoops, my mind immediately jumped to 3 Nephi chapter 7. Now behold, I will show unto you that they did not establish a king over the land, but in the same year, yea, the 30th year. God, test run. Bleeping kidding me, Oaks. God. All because of me, huh? They did destroy upon the judgment seat. Yea, did murder the chief judge of the land. Huh. So 2020 is now 2026? Yeah. That's what happened. Oaks got leaked in 2020, saying we're going to run a test run instead. And nobody caught it, that the church was preparing for it to happen in 2020, but still running a test run instead. Everything that happened in 2020 into 2021 is their plan to destroy the federal government of the land, to hand over authority to the separate states to run themselves as a nation state. Thus, the church would get their kingdom back. So the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, in preparation for this, 2019, changed the temple. And you were diverted and distracted by women no longer wearing the veil, no longer obeying their husband. Whoops! Who do you obey? The Lord, right? Instead of Elohim, or the hearken unto the counsel of your husband as he hearkens unto the counsel of the Father. Now it's the Lord for everybody. Well, who does the Lord want you to obey? Living prophet of Jesus, who speaks the word of Jesus. Well, who does the living prophet of Jesus want you to obey? It's not the Lord. Family proclamation. What does the proclamation say? Women who you obey. Yeah. They tricked you and deceived you, and you fell for it. So that you didn't catch, except for my second ex, that it's now polygamy in the law of chastity. And every Mormon knows that polygamy's coming back for the millennium. And here they are, before the test run, restoring polygamy. And ooh, I come out and sue them. And Nelson is furious. Travis is getting popular views. Bleep you, Travis. Yeah. I was born and raised Mormon among Mormon alt-right parents. Obviously, I'm going to be an annoyer and a disturber of your kingdom. You should have known this was going to be the consequences of your actions. You can't just assume everybody will be afraid of you and never molest or make you afraid. Your weakness is your pride, which Benson taught you guys all about. You didn't learn from him, did you? So yes, I have a lot of fun with the leadership of the church. Right, Razband? And Gilbert, D. Dodd, but especially the head of the church who's not authorized. But also changing the name of the church in 2019 to be the corporation name, as everybody assumes that's the name of the church. Nobody realizes that the church doesn't exist because it's in the government documents that they're illegal. But Nelson changed to transfer everything to me because of the way he worded it. And the 6th article, saying that the incumbent, who's the head of the church, when they are winding down and going to dissolve it, is to transfer all of the assets in accordance with the revelations. That's section 107 for authority. And I didn't know about the Articles of Incorporation change when I sued in Pharaoh's court. And yes, Pharaoh said no. Shocker. And yet there I was. They had just made the change in June. And here I am at the end of September and asking for a transfer to me. Because there's no way I can put a money value on the irreparable damage that they caused. No amount of money that Utah will only allow $33,000 each year. Would ever suffice. They attempted to murder me. I had the receipt, not just their orders. I just follow the Spirit. Whatever comes to my head, that is what I do. And yeah, those who do not have my level of knowledge do not see it as that level of knowledge. Many people have been offended. Many people have misinterpreted, mistranslated, and misdefined words. But interviewing people for employment at Blockbuster, picked up some useful tips on how to identify a legitimate person who's qualified versus somebody who's trying to con you. So heads up when that day comes. This video was supposed to be about the number 6 dream that I had yesterday in my study last night. But starting off the video the way I did, it's obvious that I need to do a video to teach about prerequisites. And so when I get to this, I don't know. Because I found another scripture. Haggai. I see what's going on. And even though if I were to just do the video, a few people would understand putting Haggai in the title of the video, not putting my face to get more attention. Bleep you all, by the way. Yeah, it has more views than I'm allotted on YouTube for my quota. Bleep you. I told you. Don't you dare give me lots of views for this video. Just because of the pretty picture that I altered it to conform and comply to the rest of your zombie apocalypses. Nobody wants substance. Nobody wants to learn. They all want to be entertained these days. They all have picked a false dichotomous side, and they attack the other and cheer and laugh with the one on their side. You are divided, and you're ready for the burning. You don't see it. And you laugh and you mock, and you scorn, you threaten, because you don't see it when it's blatantly obvious. So, Trump, by saying he is not allowing the FBI to investigate the death of Senator Graham, is tampering with an investigation, and thus makes him a co-conspirator in the crime, if there was any to begin with, because that's why you run an investigation. You're supposed to run an investigation with every death. You know, the coroner comes out and says, yes, he died from such and such. So then the police have to investigate to make sure that it wasn't done in that manner by malicious intent by an external actor. But for Trump to force the FBI to stand down and not investigate a crime is a crime in and of itself. And therefore, it leads to the conspiracy that Trump had him assassinated. He's not a chief judge, though. Right, Mitt Romney? During the test run, I see these patterns, guys. And now to have the Justice Department afraid for their lives, I see these patterns. Marjorie Taylor Greene again coming back and saying a national divorce. I see these patterns, guys. This is not supposed to be another test run. This is supposed to be it. 8 through 10 of 3rd Nephi? Yeah, we're having it right now. The natural disasters destroying the face of the earth. I see the patterns. As I saw the patterns for Utah. Danites, the destruction and burning company, but especially their little stunt, again with bear's ears. And the cute firecracker Katie Tour was the only one who caught it, other than me. She knows the history and went over it. That's rare these days for a press to do that. Investigate? Huh. Novel idea. Thought we were just supposed to read from a script. Quote what they said. Trump says Antifa is communist. Well, yeah, but so does Antifa. You seriously playing us for stupid? And so, yes, Utah got caught and busted in the beginning in 2017. In December, right, Nelson? In connection with Hatch in Congress. I got that video and have used it repeatedly in videos because of the content of that argument between Hatch and Brown. I get it. I understand it now in the context of the latter days. I guess it's just too complicated for other people to understand. That's why the church got busted by the SEC for $32 billion. And a major city yet to be determined in Russia. And the uranium discussion that was going on in the world news with Putin and Iran and Trump and Little Rocket Man. They wanted uranium. And so that was the whole Bears Ears scandal. That's why Trump cut back on the federal land, so that corporations can come in and mine the uranium. Oh, it's on a burial site which is sacred to the natives? Bleep them. They're not even true Americans. And ICE is even deporting them. Dear God. And so Herbert gets up and lies. This is not for oil drilling or coal. I promise you. Oh my God. Yep, the Young Turks. Back when I liked them. Before October 7th. God, they fell hard and fast. Turn on a dime because of money. To join the terrorists. But yeah, Trump again is all obsessed with uranium again. With Iran. Yeah, we're going to get all their uranium. And you don't see the connection with Bears Ears, huh? Katie Tour didn't, but she knows of the land grab, that one part of it. I know the bigger picture. Because Iran and Russia had deals before. And so, Trump signing again to do away with Bears Ears and the others, so that the state of Utah can bring in commercial entities to develop the land, to do the mining for the development of the land into homes and businesses. Which we have seen throughout history, that problem. When a certain material is no longer needed in society, or they drain the mine, that there's no more to be had from it, the town becomes a ghost town. All those people suddenly are unemployed and have to move elsewhere to survive, to find new jobs, set up their lives again. And I can understand that's frustrating. I can understand that regardless of the danger the job put you in, that you have no other education to do any other job, that you demand that the harmful to the environment, harmful to you job you want kept. You've been held hostage by the company and extorted to become weaponized when everybody else tries to save your lives. I understand the government doesn't want to place you into another job so that you can continue to live, to provide you with the education necessary. That's the whole trap that the whole system put you in. And that's what you don't see when you're in that position. But Trump doesn't just do anything because somebody asked them to. Even as art of the deal, he makes that very clear. You have to bribe him. He needs a quid pro quo. He's got to get something from it. He's got to get his take. He's a mafia boss. Or at least he pretends to be, and now that he's the president, he's the head mafia boss over America. Baby name meaning. And so yes, I knew that Governor Cox had to give Trump something for this to happen, regardless of the sniveling little weasel behind him, Senator Lee. And so sure enough, last night, day after, Utah breaks ground for a missile factory. Yep. Sure enough. Because if you heard, we depleted our stockpile. The greatest nation in the world that had the most massive stockpile of weapons, and they're gone? What? What the hell? But the most disappointing that I've been trying to get you guys to understand with Tyler Robinson's case is that when KUTV2 came out saying they had approached the sheriff's office for video footage, documentation of Tyler Robinson turning himself in. And they hesitated and they delayed as long as they could and came out and said, we destroyed the evidence. That's a break in the chain of custody. That in and of itself is supposed to dismiss the Tyler Robinson case. He has to be set free because the evidence is gone. And so they can't charge Tyler Robinson with a crime because they broke the chain of custody. This is why KUTV2 interviewed with a lawyer, saying this is very disturbing. You know, this is very disturbing. And so the prosecution hires an investigator to go over fake news media. And claims that Candace Owens, who's got the videotape from the back showing that Tyler Robinson was not shot from the Luze building. Again, broken chain of custody. He was shot from that direction. So again, Tyler Robinson couldn't have done it, even if it was him on the Luze building, which they still couldn't confirm. But they also vilified KUTV2 as fake news. Candace is not certified as in press, but she had physical evidence relative to the case that was necessary. And sure enough, the prosecution, dealing with it in court in the hearing last week, not only showed the frontal kill shot, but showed that same video footage that Candace had obtained. The judge saw that the case needs to be dismissed. But the Mormon, again, is letting the Mormon get away with it. Broken chain of custody. I still don't get it. But KUTV is fake news because they exposed the broken chain of custody. Oh, look, they dealt with that also last week. Oh, now we have the video footage of the turning himself in. Oh, wait, what? No, we don't. We have somebody in a black cap and a red shirt and jeans, but we can't identify him by his face. He comes into a room. Really? So the sheriff's department said we destroyed it. It's now a broken chain of custody. The case has to be dismissed. Oh, but wait, the prosecution has a video now. It's gotta be Tyler, trust us. Oh yeah, you can't really see his face. What the hell's going on? This is pure evil on the part of the prosecution. This isn't an oopsie. We spelled the name of the person wrong, and so the case has to be dismissed for a minor technicality. These are planting of evidence, tampering with witnesses, and perjury with the broken chain of custody. This is gonna get these guys locked up in prison, not just lose their license and be disbarred. If it were any other place but Utah. So sure enough, Sopranos last night saw the rape of the therapist, and he gets away with it because, oops, chain of custody was broken. I'm just going, God. Anywhere else, Tyler would be free right now. And yet this prosecution is so obsessed with murdering Tyler Robinson when clearly he didn't do it. Church of the devil, guys. That's why. It all comes back to the core that every Mormon knows. Unless you're from outside. But Oaks is trying to make sure that faithful Mormons know. To make sure that you're faithful. Because faithful Mormons will go to the church website, follow the church news, see the pretty pictures, say, hey, that's the inverted pentagram of Lucifer. Hail Satan, full of grace. Now I lay me down to sleep, I pray Lucifer my soul to keep. If I die before I wake, I pray Lucifer my soul to take. So, that's it for today. Worst state to live. So yeah, I would love to go over the 1st of Elul, but it requires an audience who can understand that the Jews don't use our calendar. It requires a whole history of the Jews that not even the church will let you know about. But the number 6 I knew had to do with the date. So I just needed to figure out what it was referring to. So last night, sure enough, that's what I checked. The 6th month is Elul. It's also the 12th month, because next month is the 7th month. So it depends on whether you're talking about the religious or the civil calendar for the Jews. And so checking Elul for the days that are regularly remembered each year for the Jews, that's where 1st of Elul, 6th month, Moses ascends Mount Sinai for the 3rd set of 40 days. This is not literal history. So I see this as applying to the latter days. Moses is me. I see that. And ascends. Hilarious, because under Nelson, Jesus no longer ascends. His little logo thing that he said, yeah. Jesus no longer ascends, and nobody caught it. Still to this day, even though I do the videos still. With all the people that came to that video, the Gethsemane atonement is gone. It's just tomb atonement now. And still, despite the many people who came to that video that YouTube couldn't suppress, where are you now? Did you not check other things that the church leaders have been telling you? When I repeatedly tell you, Nelson never says Jesus ascended. It's always the tomb for resurrection. You don't catch this? I see these things easily. And yeah, if you come to one video, you don't know until I tell you. But then you're supposed to run with it. Because obviously you can't watch all my 10.5K videos to learn. You are supposed to do the work to check on it. And so the logo is the obvious one. The chief cornerstone of the cornerstone, but yet he's built on top of the church. And it's the tomb, not ascension into heaven. But even Moses ascends. And that's the whole point, is that Mount Zion is a mountain city in Jerusalem. All of the buildings are built on the mountain. And at the top of the mountain is where the temple is. The capstone is where the temple is, the house of God. And so Joseph Smith, the mountain cities of Zion and New Jerusalem. Thus, my inspiration for the design of Zion and New Jerusalem. This was going to be an awesome video. Because Haggai is about the call out, come and build Zion. I get it. But it's too complicated for my general audience. There are a few who will get it. They've been following me. But the majority of people who see a pretty picture and click on it, they're clueless. Because it's complicated, they don't understand, they don't believe, and they never come back. And so here's where I caught on to Haggai. Also on the same day, the prophet Haggai commands that the rebuilding of the second temple continue. I see this. Joseph Smith only built one temple. Nauvoo Temple is Brigham's. And thus, with what Brigham did, Joseph needs to be restored. Thus the second temple. Because all these other temples are what the Jews know and understand. And that's where we get to 9th of Av, as this is the first day of Av, before the month of Elul. The destruction of the temple, followed by the rebuilding of the temple. I see it. I understand it. The one mighty and strong is to set in order the temple by bringing Mormons to Zion to build it with the book of the law. And that's the whole number 3 for the latter day final 4, number 3, which was supposed to be this video, so that I can put these in the document that I've got going. Instead, got inspired to do this video about prerequisite knowledge. Just want to scream. Alive, staying alive. People say breaking and everybody shaking and staying alive. Staying left. Staying left. So, yeah, I'm suspicious of the dating because it's 2 days after the solar eclipse. We're in the curse of Joseph Smith right now. So I see this coming. But I mean, still to come out and lie, and I didn't see any of the press, because normally the press, especially KSL and even ABC4 News nowadays, promote the church with whatever church news thing they come out with, and I didn't see anybody. And so maybe it's late at night when they did it, and we can check. But nobody is promoting the church's record-breaking number of missionaries that's 26,000 plus short. Even the YouTube Mormon employee who shifted his schedule this week to the 11 to 5:30 hour, who again caused the problem like he did last week, or she did last week, of forcing me to double up with the video content, made sure that both videos were suppressed. God. You do not want the direction we're heading in. Consequences when you do an act. You can't be surprised when you knew in advance that certain actions would lead to certain consequences and you just denied that they were going to happen. So yeah, Valley Fair Mall attack, Strata data center, taxing auto obesity, bystanders save woman who lost her legs. Oh God. Youth sports participation, Salt Lake City, keeping, nope, they're not doing videos on it. So let's check out ABC for Utah. So again, the amputation. Woman tubing struck boat propeller. God. See, I understand the desire to go boating when we're about to lose all our water, and that electricity is going to go out, so you want to go out and enjoy your life before you die. I understand, but still. What were you doing so close to the boat? Did you not know safety precautions? Did the boat violate safety precautions? Is it a murder? So nope, nothing here either. So I guess we'll check them all before we check the online, because the whole Christofferson's brother getting convicted, pleading guilty, that was kept hidden. None of the local news wanted to talk about it. It was only available online through the printed online news. And so you had to know to look for it. It was recommended to me. So nope. Not Fox 13 News Utah either. So KUTV2. Deep fake news. Nope. Nobody covered it. Despite the big push, nobody covered it. So let's check the online news. So yeah, the newsroom first. Salt Lake Tribune, they did. LDS Church sets new missionary record, here's why. The Salt Lake Tribune got conned. They didn't do their research to check the previous years that the church knows and told us every time. And yet, here's the Salt Lake Tribune. Dylan Eubank, 14th of July, 2026, 11:20 a.m., updated 2:12 p.m. Dumbass for the Salt Lake Tribune. Didn't catch it. We'll keep reading. Maybe you fix it. Previous record was 88, set in 2014. No. 85,147. That was the total number. So, where did we put that? There it is. So yes, it was higher than 2020 of 82,346. But again, he goes all the way back to 2014 and he doesn't know this information? Dylan, what the bleeping hell? So we'll include that here. 2014, 85,147. What the bleeping hell? Why did you not catch this, Dylan? You checked, obviously. Verify. Bleep you, Salt Lake Tribune. This is free now. Be putting that up in my face. You're saying 88,000 in 2014. 85,147. You can't even do math either, Dylan? It was a church site recommended. The church posts this every year, and Dylan botched it? Who is this Dylan? Dylan Eubank, Salt Lake Tribune. Salt Lake City Reporter. Here's his LinkedIn page. Faith in Utah County Reporter. Dear God, spiritual witness feelings. Brigham Young University. He's part of the Mormon overtaking of it. He lied. Outright lied. He claims he's checking, and he lied. What the bleeping hell, Dylan? So yeah, obviously this was not Peggy Fletcher Stack doing it. Included his enthusiasm for the creation of 55 new missions. There's only 48. I mean, we can check again. Maybe some more. The final 7 were put on last night. Nope. And I know this is still being worked on because there's a July 10th. There's a July 14th. That was just yesterday. Dominican Republic of Congo. So yes, this is still being kept up, and no, there's only 48. And Dylan botches it. What the bleeping hell, Dylan? So the Deseret News. Obviously they're gonna lie. Do not understand the seriousness of this. This is an outright lie. They're short 26,000 plus. 227. I just, dear God. And yeah, here's ABC4 News Utah. Sarah, if this is you reporting this, I'm going to be pissed. Before we continue, press and hold to confirm I'm a bot. Heaven forbid a bot should watch your channel. And it's going to do this forever. You're not going to do it? You're going to deny me snapshots, huh? We have noticed you've been using snapshots in your video, Travis. That's not it. Dear God. Okay. So I got the full screen snapshot, even though rather than a snapshot. Oh, now you do it? Bleep you. God. Pisses me off. So who's reporting on this? Ava Hart. Who's Ava Hart? Another unwed Mormon girl who graduated from the apostate University of Utah. You just barely graduated? Oh my hell. Sure, stick the newbie who didn't investigate, who just barely graduated from the University of Utah, humiliating and utterly disgracing the University of Utah's journalism field. This is the best you got for your graduates, huh? Oh my God. This is scary, guys. That the church has pulled this con and nobody catches it. It's blatantly obvious and nobody catches it. So now I got to humiliate Ava Hart by merging her with the pretty picture that I made yesterday. Sarah, you need to start cracking the whip over there. So, just to give you a teaser further on what would have been, to rebuild Zion, it's not just the physical building of the building structure. And yeah, pure of heart. But the economy of Zion is how you build it. And that is the storehouse. So those who can't or are not involved with the actual building, because it's hard manual labor work, and I'm wanting it to be done by robotic automation. That way it will get done quicker, and that way it will be a better outcome, saving lives as well. And you don't need to worry about not having a job. Oh no, that's the only job I know what to do. I don't know. Oh, what do I do? I demand to work on the building. The robotic automation is taking our jobs. In Zion, that's what you want. So yes, the storehouse needs to be supplied, not just built. It's the whole thing. And so yes, the city of Jerusalem is a mountain. The city is the mountain. And at the top of the mountain is the temple. And in the center of the temple is the storehouse, the treasury. Laban and the brass plates. And I can't get that through to Mormons. So I'm hoping that I don't have to wait until August 14th. That hopefully it means that I'm there in Zion by August 14th. That I've ascended to the mountain. That I took it off the screen. That I'm giving out the call out for Mormons to come to Zion by that point. Which means the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has fallen, and that they have transferred the church to me by that time. And it's not a quick thing. It better not be. It takes time for these things to happen. Transferring. Yes, all they have to do is sign it over in the document. But then there's the whole process of the transfer of the physical assets, the transfer of the liquid assets. That takes time. That can't happen just like that. They've got to collect all of the documents, all of the records, all of the contact information. It has to be given to me. I then have to have it all set up to be able to send out the notification to the stake presidents, so that the stake presidents can have notification to the members to come to your wards on Sunday to be read, the letter that is going to be prepared to be read, for the call to come out of Babylon to come build Zion. And that there's interviews that need to be taking place, so that those who want to come to Zion have to put in their bios and their resumes to come to Zion in advance. And so people who are going to try to sneak into Zion will be rejected and denied, so that only the pure in heart come to Zion. This takes time. And so if we're saying that it's going to be on first of Elul, the fall of the church has to happen, and the transfer has to happen before then. And that's 2 months. Next month. 1 month. Dear God. Because August is next month. So it's the next lunar or new moon, which was a total solar eclipse. So it's got to be done before then. And so how is the fall going to take place? Well, Isaiah says that Oaks is going to be locked up in prison for his crimes. Are they still being investigated? Is that what the cause for them to be disappearing? That Christofferson is trying to let people know, I'm still around. I'm doing a video and I'm botching it. Preaching some other doctrine than what's in the scriptures. And he still keeps getting more and more views. More and more people fall for the con, being led astray, being ashamed, and what was the other thing? It was Isaiah 24, right? See, because when I make an error, that helps my visionary memory of it. Whoops. Yeah. Confounded and ashamed. So I don't know. This is an awesome thing for me, but it's frustrating dealing with an incompetent enemy. That, I mean, dear God, severe mental retardation, that they need to be hospitalized because of how severe it is. They have to be removed from society. They cannot be allowed to live among us. That's how bad it is. So, but yeah, the 14th also, 7+7, that's why I stuck it in the video yesterday, because I caught it. Transfer of authority. So that's what I'm wondering, because if it's a transfer of authority, then that pushes the call out further on. But if it's the call out on that day, then the transfer has to happen before. But this is what I'm wanting to know, because obviously the church isn't going to tell me. Upon the winding down and dissolution of the church. They're planning for the winding down and dissolution of the church. Does this not make sense to anybody? Am I just talking to an empty room? That's what I think we should call this video. Upon the winding down. And I don't have to do the other picture that I need to make, when I probably still should make it. They want to know who's going to be faithful. KSL is not faithful. Fox 13, not faithful. KUTV2, not faithful. Only ABC4 as the new graduate. Was it BYU? I don't think so. It was the University of Utah, wasn't it? Yeah, I remember condemning the University of Utah for putting out this kind of crap. Graduate. She's already a wicked Mormon for not being married and having several kids by now. And you don't catch that from Oaks yet either? Are you not even following this church? You're just going through the motions? Dear God, do you not understand how dangerous that is? She's born and raised in Utah. So, does she know about the inverted pentagram? She would be the perfect girl for me, I see. Other than... because I'm a blonde. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're done. My hell. 2-hour video. So yeah, understand that this is pending, and it may just be for me. Because I see a whole bunch from Paleo Hebrew, the one guy, it's obvious that he's the high priest, and yet they still, the author puts Zadok, but then clarifies that he's the great Cohen, the great priest, which is a Zadok. Hilarious. But you have to know Hebrew to catch it. I'm having trouble with the Jews who may not know. Welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely place, such a lovely place. Yep. Yeah, all in your mind. Because of pop culture and fashion. Right there. You're not learning from it. You're getting led by it. Don't let the world lead you. You lead the world for your life. That's the big difference. Alright. So, yeah, I guess it would be a better for tomorrow, because the moon will be there at the mouth of Leo the Lion, so I can see that working better for tomorrow. I feel better now.